Not a Beatles fan.
There you go.
Could you buzz me during open forum? My,
Is there a buzz button?
yeah. My speakers aren't working,
Okay.
so I can't listen to where you're
Can we
at.
just stomp on the floor? Can you hear us down there? No.
I don't have any right now, period.
Everything's stomping from down there.
Yeah, just throw one of the guys down on the floor and
We'll do it.
Do a little wrestling.
We'll do it.
it sounds like that's going on sometimes.
All right.
All right.
Say the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So consider approval of minutes and agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve minutes agenda.
A second.
A motion from Jens Volden, a second from Smith to approve the minutes and agenda. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. We're ready for you.
He should just come here.
Well, that's my thoughts.
We can do mine,
Okay.
because I'm here.
While we're waiting, auditor's office will discuss drainage matters.
I don't have anything.
Do you have any?
No,
Nothing.
Unless we want to talk about the beaver tails. Is that the only beaver tails we've had this year?
No.
This fiscal year,
Oh, I was gonna say, I saw
Calendar
some
year.
coming on.
yeah, but Ryan and Todd have been pretty busy. Ryan and Todd, sorry.
I feel sorry.
for the beaver.
No,
So, that's
For the
good though,
sorries.
that
Oh,
they
yeah.
said that Worth County raised theirs to $100 per tail because they couldn't find anybody to trap them. And I said to the sorries, we're
we're
not
at
gonna
50,
do
aren't
that.
we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're
Yeah,
good until
we're
we have a
doing
problem.
just fine. And he said he didn't need us to raise it, he was just saying it.
Are they doing it over there then?
I don't know if they are or not,
And, you know,
because I think they're busy
there'll be
here.
some- A fair amount of incentive to go there.
I mean,
Good, double the
it's
money.
farther for them to go, but
Yeah,
this might be
but
worth
they
the
both
time.
have full-time jobs,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so,
They gotta have more equipment.
yeah. But,
This was received.
claims?
Yeah.
Did you guys have any questions?
Didn't.
Yeah, I'll ask Scott about the one, big one. 148,000 for the snowplow equipment. I just wondering if that was one plow and dump bed.
I suppose it
No
could be.
truck.
Well, I know it's skipped underneath, it's like $20,000.
Yeah.
But I can't believe it would be that much more for that.
It's
What
almost
was it
like
again,
it's
148?
148 something.
No, I'm gonna have to admit, I was naughty, I think I forgot to look at it. No, I'll look at it on my phone just to,
Well, I suppose you could go through those,
well, no, because she went all the work, put it on my phone, I should have looked at it there. Not on there, yes. I better shut my ringer off.
I don't know what else we can do, sorry.
we could be working on the payroll claims
Yeah.
that we
And
haven't
then
done from 2
I
years
don't
ago.
know if Chelsea will get those in early or not. I might get
But we have 2 weeks ago to work on.
right. Should have just had Sue stay up here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So what do you have for us?
Well, I can give you a little bit of a weekend report on the snow plowing operations. Throughout the blizzard, I tried to keep updated posts on Facebook about what our trucks were doing. Of course, the visibility changed so dramatically, it was hard to keep up. So the blizzard kind of started on Friday, the 12th. Our guys were in early on blacktops, and they went till the end of the normal working day. That day we didn't run gravels because it was kind of just getting started through the morning, and our gravel routes take about 8 hours, normal conditions. So if we don't start first thing in the morning, we won't get around to the whole route. So we usually just put the plowing off to the next day. Saturday the 13th, we had trucks and graders on pavements and gravels running from basically sunrise until 1 o'clock when the visibility went to pot, and we pulled everything off. We did have one breakdown that day with some hydraulic hose leak, and had guys out there in the cold working on that, so kudos to those guys. They were able to get it back to the shop and get ready for the next day. Sunday the 14th, we had trucks out early and had gravel routes at sunrise all the way through to the end of the route, so we were able to get some work done actually and have something to show for it on Sunday. And blacktops shaped up that day, so the trucks were done on blacktops by 1. And then yesterday was MLK Day, and things were in okay shape, nothing plugged up real bad, so we took the day off, and the guys are back today. I think graders are out this morning cleaning up anything that kind of blew back in, and I think for the most part the blacktops are fine. So looking back, I think the one thing that I think we'll talk some more about is Saturday's operations. We had our entire crew out in the middle of a blizzard with a wind chill warning. We had thoughts back and forth about whether that was worth being out. We're spending a lot of money. We're putting guys at risk for cold if something breaks down. And the blizzard was expected to go for another whole day, and nobody's supposed to be out. We're always available for emergencies, so I want everybody to remember that. So if somebody gets stuck or has a ambulance call or whatever, we can always respond. And the other thing to remember is, even if we're out the entire time, that doesn't mean your road's going to be open, because it might blow in behind us, and it might take us the entire day to get from one pass to the next. So
We were fortunate that we hadn't had much snow before this, so the ditches weren't full yet.
certainly,
That kind of helped a little.
I was out and about some on Saturday when we weren't supposed to be, and I never saw anything I couldn't get through.
okay.
Yeah,
So
I was
I
out.
don't know what you guys would have been. I had to go to Rake, and I went out to a birthday party at Sam's Little Girls, and on the Mill Road, I didn't see anything that would be. Now, there might have been a couple of them if you'd have stayed way to the west side of the road in a little car. It might have been somewhat uncomfortable, but I mean, you could drive around. I mean, it was, everything I saw was passable
Yeah,
if you were not going 60.
all right.
Yeah, that one on Saturday, it seemed like when the 1 o'clock visibility went down, that had to have been the snow from up in Minnesota that blew down here, because it wasn't really snowing, it was just kind of blowing in.
Must have been something up in the higher atmosphere or whatever. Because,
Well, I looked at the radar, and there was snow coming across south of us on 18, snow across 90 on both going straight east, and we weren't getting it, but it was hitting us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when we went out to Sam's at 11, I mean, it was poor visibility, but then while we were there, that's when it really, all of a sudden, it's just like, is it actively snowing again now, or what here?
I couldn't see the edge of my yard.
And no, yeah, we couldn't even see I could see groves of trees in the distance when I went out, and then we couldn't even see Sam's, just the shadow of his trees there for a while.
Yeah, that's when we packed it up.
Well,
I think Worth
I
County
think
was
the
just
most-
a little later than you, but it hit them later probably.
I think that really the only concern in a situation like that, at least mine, is how long would it take you to get out to an emergency? You know, how fast could you
Yeah,
get to an ambulance that had to get
Yeah,
in somewhere?
right. Yeah, and that depends on if we have guys called into the shop or not. And you just have to think through that. If you decided, hey, we're not plowing snow today, but we'll call in a guy at each shop or something, so we're able to,
Yeah.
respond
In an
quickly or
emergency
something like
situation.
that. Yeah, it's
During the day it was passable. I'd hated to have been out there after dark. Your headlights.
yeah.
Dead on.
I know Marcus tried to have the guys, wait until sunrise so that visibility was a little better and hey, when it's 20 below and winding and the wind's blowing and it's dark outside, I mean, you're in tough shape when you're in a maintainer bucket drifts and snow's flying in your windshield. So, but, it's something to reflect on. I don't know. I mean, I'll take any opinions anybody's got.
I don't move my snow until it's done blowing.
Yeah, the other thing to remember is when we're out there, we're trying our best not to stack snow up higher than it needs to be, but inevitably there's going to be some of that when we're out there. So if we can wait till the end, we're going to do a better job, and it's going to be.
The trouble is when you bust through a drift and then when you create a lip off on the side and then it drifts in that much deeper over the road.
Right.
I thought your online presence was great. People appreciated that.
So we were talking about response if there was an emergency and our plows weren't out, like on Saturday afternoon. Do you have a lot of issues over the years where you can't get there in a rural area?
No, we've always had real good response from secondary roads coming to help if we need them. It just takes a little time. But
There just wouldn't be many times where we wouldn't have guys at the shop.
No.
I mean, it would be different if we just sent them home and said, we're not plowing today, you can all go home. If we have an emergency, we'll try to get one of you back in. That would be different than what we've done.
Right.
We'd have to think through that a little bit, but, it is still better to have the guys parked in the shop just waiting than to run all the machinery out there, where they can get stuck or break something.
I could go in the ditch themselves on the way to the shop.
Certainly, yeah.
Well, would they be considered, if they did go home, would they just be considered on call then, or how does
Yeah,
that work?
you guys get their on-call pay no matter what on the weekends if they're around, which isn't much, $10 a day, 20 for holidays, but they get paid their hourly rate for only when they're at the shop working. So that wouldn't include if they were to, say, stay overnight there trying to beat the blizzard if they have a commute, wouldn't pay for those hours. But if you called them in and said, hey, we want you to be here just in case and stay parked in the shop, we would pay them for that. So, we don't have that many blizzards, so, this is maybe sensitive right now.
No, I guess I'm not saying, I think it's well worth it to have someone. There.
Especially if it's your family member that needs to help.
how far will you guys take us?
I think we've taken you all the way to a call and all the way up to Albert Lee before.
I didn't know if you guys would cross state lines or not. I know I followed a county plow to Mason.
Yeah,
I didn't know if you'd go to Albert Lee or.
I think we've done whatever. I haven't, been there when that decision was being made, but I think we'll do what's necessary.
I know for a fact you've taken me to Mesa before, and I'm not saying you haven't taken me to Albert Lee. I don't remember being a part of an Albert Lee one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean over the weekend I got stuck on Highway 9, And then a state plow operator got stuck beside me on Highway 9 going to work. And they were great. I seen them on mock, so we got a snow plow up and they got me pulled out and she was behind me in the ambulance and then they plowed the road and we got back to Thompson. So, I mean, I've never had a complaint with any snow plows. They're always good to work with and helpful. I commandeered a state snow plow to get to Lake Mills. He was ahead of me and I caught up to him and stopped him and said, I'm going to the Lake Mills Care Center and you're taking me. Okay, I guess. So.
Yeah.
And we just call Ethan or who do dispatch usually takes care of that. But
Yeah, I know that they're in contact with Ethan
I didn't-
quite a bit through the storms, and
Okay.
they know if he's not there, who else to call to, so
Okay.
all that's taken care of with dispatch.
Okay.
So, I guess I'm telling you guys, just in case you got any, kind of policy level feedback, you know, where you'd like to see us do something different or not, but, I know Hancock County didn't run gravels on that Saturday, and so, you know, there were different decisions being made by different groups of road departments.
I didn't get any complaints from anyone. I think people realized what was going
Well,
on.
we're never gonna get complaints about being out there, you know, so that makes the decision tough, because when you think you're making a good decision by waiting until the next day and you get 2 or 3 calls about, you know, drifts preventing you from getting out to work or whatever, you know, that's where it's tough.
Man, you hope that their work is gonna understand. I mean, it's just the way, to me, why go out there and when you're just gonna have to go back out there and remove it all again? It's, when the weather's that bad, it's probably just best not to go anywhere. It's, unless you're emergencies type stuff.
Yeah, I mean, personally, that's
People
my
are
feeling.
available to get that opened up for the emergency, that kind of covers.
And it minimizes how much they're out driving around just willy-nilly. If the road is blowing shut and you're not cleaning it out for them, and they can't be out on the road getting stuck
Yeah, hopefully,
for us to go fetch a different time throughout the day.
yeah.
Well, I think your decisions this weekend were correct. I mean, I don't know how anybody would have complained, but it wasn't that bad before the Saturday afternoon blow, so.
Yeah, I was going out to do my hog chores and out by the Wessel bin site just south of Buffalo Center there. I don't know who was running it, but I watched the Oshkosh do a 360. So the weather was the drift evidently was a little bigger than they thought, and they hooked it with one side. They'd already been through it, I think, and it hooked it with one side, and that thing just slow motion all the way around.
Well, at least 360 puts you back in the right direction.
Yeah, they were pointing the right way again. Well, the one wheel was off in the ditch just a little bit, but they were able to back out of there.
It's an Oshkosh.
When I drove by, I thought I could smell a hog pit. Or something smelling, I don't know what it was.
All right.
So you were gonna ask Scott about that.
Oh, on the claims, the 148,000 some for said dump box and plow
Crystal.
on the claims. It was that just for one plow and one sander bed?
Yeah, it's the complete package of the dump box, the belly blade, the front plow, the
So
wing
it's all
blade,
of it.
the hydraulics, the labor to fit the truck, everything, yeah. So you'd have basically 2 bills for that plow truck. One is that one, and the other one is from Truck Centers for the chassis.
Right.
So that includes the box too.
Box, bottom blade.
Yeah, I suppose we could, you know, I'm not sure what you see, probably the description field, and so we could write that all out in a lot of detail if,
I just wanted to clarify that.
It just
What did it
seemed
say
like
in
a
the
lot
claims?
just for snow removal.
It said the box and plow, you know, and it might have been on our display, that's all it shows, but it might have been farther, yeah, on a computer.
sure, yeah.
It might have been more descriptive.
Yeah, on It didn't say anything other than cry steel and that equipment, I think is all it said.
I think it said plow and box.
So, no, yeah,
So I had that part of it, but I just didn't know if it was just one of them or two of them, or I thought we'd only got one plow. So. All right,
Seems like a lot of money.
when it's that large, you gotta ask.
yeah, hopefully it'll last for 20 years.
Any other questions for Scott?
Nope.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll move on. We'll go to number 5, consider for approval resolution for lease agreement with Fort City Ambulance Service.
Thanks, Scott.
I have a resolution here and then the lease to sign. I have 2 of them, one for us, one, oh crap, I forgot to take the draft off.
Oh,
Guess we won't be signing that one.
we can look at it though.
I didn't even see it before I brought it up to you guys.
Okay, you got stacks.
Let's see. Where is one of those?
Does this need to be stamped to prove the size or just?
No. No, I didn't go through them.
Have this one.
Nothing crazy changed, did it?
There was just one little change towards the bottom.
Of the agreement.
On the lease.
Which page towards the bottom?
Change the language in the last paragraph just a tiny bit to make sure we're covered, is what she said.
Last.
The big thing that we had questioned that I remembered, at the end of the lease, leases shall have the option to purchase the equipment for fair market value to be determined at the end of the term of the lease condition. Was the public hearing, wasn't there?
Yeah, and we don't, I talked to Elizabeth, and we don't have to do a public hearing because it's not real property, and we don't have to do the disposal and because it's not real property, and you don't have to do that until the end.
Okay.
So at the end of the lease, then we would have to have a public hearing for disposal.
But only if it was real property, and it's not real property,
Oh, okay.
so
It's virtual.
it's, well, real property would be like land or a building
Buildings.
or,
Something that's nailed down.
mhm,
This is mobile.
yes.
So then we can just use,
So we would just have to establish fair market value
Fair market
through,
value.
talk to the
464 or
and
whatever,
another
and
dealer to get,
get 2 fair market value quotes and,
whether it's 1 or 2, I don't know.
yeah, okay.
I know, like for the state stuff, it's just 1.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if it's the same rules for us or not.
No.
All the whereases were in there.
It has something to do with watermark, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
no,
Now, when
Lots
we
of
start sticking notwithstanding in there, then we're gonna open up a can of worms.
notwithstanding.
That's what the legislature does. Notwithstanding, we can make the rules as if we want.
Change up.
Mr. Stone was at our thing last night, and as soon as he said, you can call me anytime, I was just about getting my phone out while he's on the stage.
Make it ring.
Remove watermark. There we
You gonna
go.
ask him why we're gonna lose control of our,
That's-
public health?
And a number of
State's
other
gonna take
things.
over everything.
Oh, that'll work
Supervisors, we're gonna
well.
get to sit here and twiddle our thumbs pretty quick.
That'll work out good.
Because they're good at what they do.
But anytime you get control further away from home, you're always better represented by your money. And I also have land in Florida, so if you believe that.
We should actually get a real soapbox and have it set right out here.
But then we gotta have handrails, because it's a.
Oh, yeah.
Handrails, it's a slip hazard.
Right,
Oh,
or-
no, I think
otherwise we'll be calling.
I would rather have a pile of manure. Because then I'd be giving it, I never, could say I never gave a speech from a Democrat platform before.
Do you want hip waders?
That's a Ronald Reagan joke. It's really fun.
These are your people, remember.
I guess I was in a different frame of mind back then. Different priorities.
I think the lease looks good compared to what, I mean, we didn't really change anything and we liked it before, so.
He did. I looked right through the draft.
Well, I did too.
Yeah.
From over here, I could tell right off.
We,
These are received.
what did you guys think? I mean, we ended up with quite a bit of overtime, but, through the storm for us, we had 2 paramedics on, one in Thompson and one in Forest City here, and then we had, Emily as a volunteer, and then we had a county EMT. So we had a staff ambulance and a fly car in Thompson, plus we had the 3 volunteer crews and the paramedic on here in Forest City, so. I think it went well, especially after getting stuck in Highway 9.
You were in what vehicle were you in?
One of the fly cars,
We're really stuck in Highway
And-
9.
But you were behind him?
130th.
We'd been in
On
like
his 30th?
for calls, like.
That's by the hog building, right? Where the truck tipped over. On the
Yeah,
road.
yep, where they took down that grove.
Wasn't there, and then there was also, I don't know if it's the same
When
thing, but
we,
there was a white minivan on 130th.
So the funny part of the story is they were behind us waiting for the plow to
Oh,
plow
they took that
me
out too.
and the state plow
Why
operator
did it print?
who was on his way to work, who got stuck in the same drift as me.
So also, while you're correcting it, am I still chairman? I mean, I wanna be.
I fixed all that.
I thought she was, I thought it was bad.
Do you wanna-
It's a
have you even
coup,
looked
it's
at
a
it?
coup.
This is gonna get thrown away, but if you wanna look at it more.
They, so that minivan got real snippy with Emily when she told them, you can't get through. The snowplow's trying to dig the response unit and another car out, like, just stay behind me and wait. And they got mad and they turned around and they went down that gravel road and
Oh, that's getting them nowhere.
that made them a half a mile is what it made them. And then they sat there for 3 hours till they ran out of gas and then called 911 and said they had to get rescued.
Oh, so they didn't have a full tank of gas either out driving
Nope.
around and that stuff?
Nope. But I mean, just, luckily getting stuck, we were on the way home. So we, typically what we try to do, if we have the luxury of doing it, is send the response unit first and then follow with the ambulance. So we get the easier one to get stuck. And then it gives us a B plan, if we're trying to get to Terry's house and we get the response unit stuck, we can abandon the response unit and then try again with the ambulance. So it gives us a immediate plan B.
for them,
So
yeah.
that's typically what we try to do in snow emergencies, but
Apparently, you're gonna have to get a response unit that has, like a transformer where
We
everything
should-
turns into a blower.
we should just
or a
commandeer
plow or-
Scott's Oshkosh and we'll use that as a
Well, if you're
response.
trying to get to my house, I have a plow plugged in at my.
Okay,
Just
so
plow.
good to know.
That's
I
a
don't think
big
they have
plow
an
on it.
Oshkosh anymore. Did they sell it?
It's got-
Is there still one?
I thought you said you watched it do a 360.
No, this was back in 1978.
Oh, I thought
I thought it was
I
Dixie
I thought it was this
Oh, no.
storm
I
too.
thought it sounded like he was regurgitating.
Bill, you gotta let that stuff from 1968 go.
Jesus, you gotta give us a
78.
date.
I'm not your age.
So-
You know how they do it in the movies where they flash the date across the bottom of the screen?
Oh my gosh.
That's how rumors get started.
That
Oh,
is.
yeah, no.
We
I
all
said
were
I
on
was
that
on my
same
way out to
page.
do hog chores, and
We
everybody
all
knows.
thought
know
you
if
were
you
talking
start-
about
I haven't had
now.
hog chores since I was in high school. That's
now-
when I
Oh,
learned
I
that
just
was-
thought you took
Now
another
Scott's
third
gonna go
job.
back and ask Ethan about it.
He was
He
taking
is.
notes during the story.
We were all thinking you were talking about now.
Oh, golly, guys. You gotta take what I
Give
mean,
me
not
the
what I
time.
say. Well, actually, what I said was you just quit assuming.
Wow.
You need to start your story with, in 1978, when I was doing hog chores.
Next time we hear a
In
story
high
coming,
school.
we're gonna ask him date.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Scott knows that I don't believe they got an Oshkosh.
Probably not.
He just
I saw at least
If
one.
it is, they don't
probably
use
just
it.
thought you hadn't had your caffeine this morning or
I
something.
haven't, I quit coffee.
So no, I mean, I know we're gonna
I
have
would hope that this
a
is
lot
right.
of payroll, but I know the city of Thompson was very happy. They were very welcoming to us and hometown market was
If you want to
great.
do a
and
quick compare,
Someone left $25 for snacks for us down at hometown. I mean, everyone was happy to see us there, and I think it took a lot of stress off of us because we had that much less time to worry about how are we gonna get to Thompson, or what if Buffalo Center has a car accident that needs 2 ambulances, or, what if.
So when was this gathering?
So we departed here at midnight on Thursday night.
Going into Friday. And we came back Sunday morning.
Yeah, we got,
Yeah.
that crew
Midnight
came
to
home
Thompson.
Sunday morning at 8 AM. But I think we'd do it all over again. I mean, for the way it worked, it went very well. Fire department was great. I think, they were willing to do whatever, so
They didn't have their soup supper, did they?
that was the weekend before.
Oh, that was weekend before. Good. But no, they didn't have it on Saturday night.
Nope, they did not have it on Saturday night.
All right.
But back in 68.
Yeah, back in 1968. Preface that.
78.
I'm sorry.
78.
How old do you think Billy is?
I don't
So I
know.
told her I'm not her
You're
age,
the senior in high school. Or no, you
I
were
am the
junior.
senior supervisor here.
but not by that much.
You're gonna get hit.
All right, before us, we have a resolution and a copy of the lease. Do we have any further questions or comments on it?
It looks like it's all correct now.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution for a lease agreement with Forest City Ambulance Service.
I'll second.
I've got a motion from Jensvold and a second from Smith to approve the resolution to move forward with the lease on the ambulance equipment, or the response equipment that we'll call it. Isn't that what it is?
Sponsoring it,
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries.
There's donuts up there, guys.
Memo about deducting the 3 hours, so something gets approved stamped approved then.
Mhm. Thank you, sir.
I like the assessor's packet. Does each one need to be stamped, or is it just one stamp on the, for the payroll?
Just one stamp on the front page is fine.
Now that I'm a rookie over here, it's,
Hard to remember.
I don't know if it's stamped on this one.
I'll bet.
All right.
We're done to 4.
Yes. Are there two of those lease agreements? Cause I need one for us and one for them.
Oh,
Yeah,
We can just do a copy if you didn't.
No, there was two.
all right. Just whether it's the right one or not.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
made,
It doesn't say
the
draft.
one I just laid right here was the
Oh,
right
it does
one.
have my name on it, okay.
I don't know if it was right or not draft.
Ooh, worship, Marion.
Emily, donut. Sorry, we're running like 3 hours.
I didn't date that other lease agreement in 1968, did I?
No, we're good.
Swear.
No, it doesn't.
Yep.
Deal with it down there.
There you go.
Have a good day, guys.
Thank you.
All right,
Stay safe.
Have a boring
Thank
day.
I know, right?
so far it hasn't been boring.
Get a
Yeah.
nap. She said she was done on 3 hours of sleep.
Yeah, they said they got home from her parents at 6 a.m.
Wow.
Consider for approval county claims. Or has Bill had a chance to look at that?
Bill did look through.
I'll make a motion to approve the county claims.
I'll second it.
Got a motion from Smith and a second from Jensel to approve the county claims. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Open forum. Oh, morning, Susan.
Good morning.
Morning.
I was just wondering if the 30th of this month would work for you three for the conference board meeting.
Put it on my phone. I already told another meeting that I couldn't do it that day until afternoon because we usually do it the last Tuesday of the month.
Well, I know it's a busy time of year with budgets and everything, but
Let's see. Yeah, we have our Woodward Petco exec board at 1 o'clock that day, so shouldn't take more than an hour, should it?
I wouldn't think so. Usually, we've been having it about 11.
Okay,
I'll put that time in.
works for us.
Because I don't know how long your meeting will go that morning either.
We
Tuesday.
can always stop the meeting and let that one proceed or something,
Well,
if we're that far back
What day is that?
on the 30th.
30th.
Of December?
January.
January? Sorry.
2024,
Yep. I'm as bad as Bill.
not 1978. He tells a story from 1978, making us think it was last weekend.
They tried to
whole
keep them
room
on their
believed
toes.
it.
I told him it's when I had hogs, and everybody knows I haven't had hogs. since
I
was
thought
in
you were
high
helping
school.
your,
I thought you were
your
doing
in-law or something.
He ain't got hogs neither.
another job.
How do we know that? So this is conference board, right?
Yep. So, that works for everyone up here?
I've got it in mind.
Perfect.
Oh,
Oh, that's all I needed.
All right.
All right, thank you.
That was too easy.
It's what we like.
Yeah.
There's another one for payroll. Are we still in open forum?
Yes,
That was received also, right?
I think that's good. Okay.
wow, this is really professional. I'm impressed.
You got them centered nicely.
I don't have to reach very far.
But the stamping,
Yeah.
don't try this at home. You're trained professional.
Coming back to you.
But
I think
you
you
gotta get that wrist wrapped, like I
Yeah.
used to have.
I think you got a future with this every year.
I smell a coup coming. Sounds like I'm never gonna be chairman again, or vice chair.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think you're just where you belong, Bill.
Just what?
You're where you belong. You and the Stampers get along so well.
Yeah.
You
Thank you.
notice they got new stampers when
Yeah, just for you.
took that position.
It's because I'm special.
Yes, you are. Kind of like this middle person. Have nothing to do.
We always wanna try to eliminate the middleman. Or in your case, it would be middle person, I should say yes.
Alright, I can be the middleman.
I meant to put Robert Schwartz on the agenda for the 23rd, not today.
Oh, I actually asked about that. I was like, why is Robert?
So do we have, budget people coming in?
Today? Yeah.
Did you send out a schedule?
Yep.
Oh, I must have missed that one.
Last one's at 4 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
We
Now
were
it-
supposed to do it.
If Robert's not on there, So
Robert
where-
is not on there.
where will he go?
He's supposed to be on the 23rd.
Oh.
He's gone all this week.
I see.
So we got all the open forum done?
I think so.
Before you got here, Carla, I asked Chris to put on a future agenda, it doesn't have to be next week, to see when Kelsey is available and that due date so that we can figure out this zoning situation.
Okay.
In Norway?
Are you gonna have the person in question at the meeting also, or?
And we just need to get it started. This is another person.
Oh, this is different.
I don't think we were calling it zoning, though. I think we were calling it nuisance now.
So what are the complaints up there?
So there's a gentleman who has started up a
Sales lot?
sales lot, junkyard, that the neighbors in a different spot as
Along the highway.
along the highway, as Roger Cruises, it's a different lot, but doing kind of the same thing. And so it's probably the exact same complaints, whether it's zoning or nuisance or sanitary sewer. I mean, I don't know that part is on there, but there's probably needs to have a letter delivered if it isn't zone commercial. Or if the gentleman wants to go in front of the zoning board to try to get the zoning changed, that has to be set up as well. So there's lots of,
That's probably the extent we can discuss it without it being, that's what.
right, but that's what, so if you talk to Kelsey and Matt. Be
We're not
nice if we
discussing
could,
it, we're just getting information.
that's why staff to make your way through.
And we're out. Especially after I walk briskly all the way from the church parking lot.
So this Friday, you're gonna come early to get the tour of the, at 7:45?
Yeah. So Carl, I suppose you need to, I don't know, do we need to post that, or maybe I just slip in the day before to look at it myself, and we don't have to post anything for that tour. I don't wanna. For the purpose of the construction people, I don't wanna have a big to-do about it. I could probably slip in there, bring my hard hat. Or they probably have them there too.
You still got your hard hat from the jail that they gave us?
I think I've got a couple of them from different projects.
I'll make a motion to approve the payroll claims.
I'll second it.
Oh,
On a motion
excuse
from
me.
Smith and a second from Derby to approve the payroll claims. Any further discussion?
No, yeah, I just got so focused on the stamper here that I forgot to second it, so I'm ready to vote though now.
Okay. All those in favor of payroll claims, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. So what time is our first budget?
Well, in 5 minutes.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Well, I didn't see that on the agenda for the budget. I'm gonna look at the city Ford, try and see what they want for Ethan's old truck.
How many miles it had on it?
I know what they paid for it, or in effect, what their trade was. I can't afford it. Paupers salary. Disagree.
You like red trucks?
Newer trucks are nicer. Yesterday I went to start my 2003 snowplow truck. It had been sitting since last Sunday morning. And might have been stuck a couple of times on Sunday morning. Not completely, but enough to get ice and snow shoved up in there. And it wouldn't start. So I had to take the shifter and go back and forth, and then slammed it into park. Then it would start. It
Really?
was like the linkage was like frozen to where it wouldn't go all the way to park.
Yeah, TJ had interesting snow removal too. A flat tire on the skid loader, which is what he prefers to move snow with, skid loader. And then his truck wouldn't start. So it sat there for a day with the charger off.
Yeah, there,
This giant shed, there should be.
You guys have one of these?
I don't.
I don't, sure. I was just gonna look for it in the, I got it in my phone. Yeah, that's a lot easier.
Thank you.
Are you first on the list, Carla?
Yep. Get you warmed up with somebody pleasant and fun and
Happy.
easy and happy.
Smiley.
Yes. Chris, give you your books.
Oh,
Yeah.
How'd your caucus go then?
Good.
How many do you have in your room, do you think?
36.
We had, see, now I didn't understand how they did that, because it said Newton Forest, but we had, like, the Tweetons in there, the Carol Tweeton, she Mount Valley. They're in my district, but they're Mount Valley. So they should have been in Mount Valley one, shouldn't they? Because I had Carol and Janelle Carson from Newton Township in mind. They were confused because they voted in the other one, but
There is a piece of Mount Valley that's in the.
yeah, there's that couple of sections.
Mm-hmm.
But how did they go by voting district? Okay, because it just said Newton Forest. Didn't say, yeah, I don't know, it was confusing.
Yeah, it's by voting district.
Okay. But that's why I questioned Carol and Janelle. They were wondering why they were in there. They were told to be in there. They're in Bill's district.
Really? Well, then they should have been in Buffalo Center.
There wasn't, what about the Westgate people? They should have been with the Westgate people, shouldn't they? That was the confusing
Well, there should have
part.
been D3. There was a,
They would vote in Thompson.
no,
They live on the other side of Neil Spur.
I don't know what Neil Spur is.
Oh, sorry. Back in 1968, I used to go there.
Hog house.
They had an elevator back then. It's halfway, it's on, as a crow flies on the rail line between here and Thompson. They're on the very western part of the district,
But they live in,
or the eastern part of his district, where it all zigzags through there on the way to Thompson.
mm,
I mean, it really didn't matter a lot, other than he made a change in our platform. So it came out of our,
well, if it was D3, it could have been,
because I was sitting next to a guy from Illinois that moved to Westgate, and he was there, one of Bill's constituents, so he was there under Ward 4 or whatever they are out
Somebody
there.
from, where does he live?
well,
Westgate,
Bill's in Ward 3.
or Ward 3.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Okay, so
but
that's
they don't have
where,
to go all the way to Buffalo Center to vote, do they?
well, no,
No,
that's why I
Ward
said
3.
Carol and Janelle could have been part of, Ward 3 or whatever it is
Yeah,
out there.
yeah.
Rather than go all the way to Buffalo Center. But since it wasn't the county's thing to do, it's out of our hands.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, and their lists are old. They
There was a lot of them missing.
don't update their lists.
Did that come from the state Republican
Well,
Party then?
it comes from the Republican Party, but I don't even think they update their lists. I don't know when the last time they updated their lists are. Because
So I was looking at the list, and I don't even know if my wife was listed on there, even though she wasn't there. She
Sony
almost
Kegler
went.
was kind of chewing me. And I said, Sony, I said, that comes from the Republican Party. I said, I don't know the last time they updated their lists. I said, and I can't do anything about that. She goes, well, look at this stack of people that had to register tonight. And I said, I can't do any, I said, it's not my list, Sony. I said, I'm sorry.
And she made it very clear at our caucus room that it wasn't the county auditor, it was the state that had
Mhm.
come up with the list, so.
Yep.
Good.
So she wasn't throwing any blame or anything.
No, I feel bad, but it doesn't come from me. We do our best to keep our lists updated, and they need to get new lists every year,
But at
and
least they're
they
afterward.
just don't. True.
A lot of the
Oh, I
Democrat
know.
one did
I know.
4 years ago. What an embarrassment.
Actually, I visited that one. I observed it happening. They're trying to make it go.
Yeah. All right. My budget's on page 9.
I got everything signed.
This is in the pile.
No, I have room.
I'm gonna run this into Chelsea quick.
Maybe the table's going.
So for salaries, you plugged in what the comp were.
Yep.
So on that discussion, it varies from county to county. If you cut a recommendation, in some counties, they don't touch the stipends, and in some counties, you have to go across the board.
We've never touched the stipends.
It doesn't make sense to touch a stipend.
Some counties do though. We never have.
But yeah,
Is it
I don't
in a-
remember ever touching the stipend of the chair, which used to be the only one. That never got affected when we did cut it back up. So historically, that's the way it's been. So any highlights here?
What did you use for health insurance?
I told everybody to do 15%. I don't think it'll be that much, but we're not gonna get a number till April.
And property insurance was 41.
Property insurance, 41.
Yeah, what's the big deal with that? The valuations went up that much to replace
No.
it, their construction costs? or-
It is just that everybody's
Got hit.
ICAP, though everybody that has ICAP went up 41%, around that amount.
Actually, I heard different number, what was it, 30% in Worth County.
Okay.
All the insurance companies have been saying that's gonna happen and it's gonna happen more.
So the question I have is, under the property insurance, can we look at the possibility of a higher deductible? What are we on for a deductible? $200? Would it save us much money for these windshields that the road department's been having? And
Yeah, I would have to look into that. I probably need to call the new people
Spear.
because Tim retired and Spear and Hire have the new insurance.
One thing that I looked at, if it's something that you wouldn't replace, I mean, I don't know, if you have insurance on a building that you would never replace, you know, you shouldn't insure it, or don't have it insured.
Mhm.
I don't know that we have anything like that, but
say we pretty
you
much
probably
use-
don't, we use everything, but, I mean, I think there are a few tactics to look at to try to lower some of that. I mean, it's probably gonna get to the point of,
Can we,
like our health insurance was a couple of years ago, I mean,
can we,
it's just,
can we have it on our agenda to talk to Spear on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Since there are new agents.
And
we
they
can
haven't
talk
given
to.
any reasons why there's a 41% increase?
Because of all the
It was because of
ratios and,
weather-related insurance
Disasters.
claims, disasters, they all really lost a lot of money.
So we're gonna make us all pay for it.
Oh,
Yep.
yes.
I don't know, is there an underwriter for ICAP?
Mhm.
Yeah, so the underwriter probably got hit pretty hard. That's what's passing down to us.
Yeah.
I'm sure ISAC had a bunch of claims a few years ago with the deratio.
Yeah.
I think
That's
they're
fine, getting
even
here.
doing, so you don't have a deductible anymore, it's a percentage of the value. You know, so it's not $1,000 deductible on something, or 500, or whatever you have. But it's, like, if your house blows away, it's 3% of the value of your house.
Yeah, so if you can maybe ask those questions of him, have him bring that information.
Okay.
Any other ways we can save money on this instead of paying the full 41%?
Yeah, it's a lot.
I'm not very encouraged when I talk to different insurance folks, you know, how to get around it, you know.
I know when I talked to other counties, I mean, it was anywhere from, there were some at 60%, there were some at, 40, there were some at, they were kind of all over the board,
And I
but
gotta
they
wonder,
were,
if it's all over the board, is it reflective on our claims? We've had some claims,
yeah, we have.
and you guys don't get those things that come through, but I get them all.
We've had a lot of vehicle accidents, we've had a lot of vehicle stuff.
Yeah,
Well,
mostly on
county
the roads.
vehicles?
I don't know if we have to,
Haven't heard of any of it, I guess.
We've had a lot of windshields, we've had a lot of deer hits, we've had a lot of,
we had a door that went like this, and on that truck we just traded.
Oh,
And why do you get them and
I
you
think
don't?
at one time I was the chair, and they sent them to me, and they just never changed the contact information,
Okay.
because they knew that I would probably always be the chair.
well, that excludes you too.
I
so
know,
maybe-
I'm just like, I thought I liked being this middleman, but now I don't.
Well, it just sounds like that you and I are gonna have to start, colluding.
And I have it on tape.
Yeah,
I said nothing.
It's in a VCR tape now.
and VCR too, yet, back from 78,
68, I thought it was.
I was at 68.
All right, so anything else unusual on here? 15% on health and
Dropped your mileage down, is that because you have the vehicle that you use a lot? Dropped down 2,000, 2,500.
I've been riding a lot with Michelle from Hancock, so
Oh,
I don't know, maybe that's,
4,035,
So-
excuse me.
So you don't have the response vehicle expense that your former sheriff's car that you guys use.
I put that in elections, 'cause we use that for elections.
What number is that?
Is part of it in the maintenance department?
Yeah, and part of it's in the maintenance department. They
That's-
actually,
use it a lot.
they use it quite a bit more than
Like
what.
probably 80% or
I
more
do.
of the use.
That's 12, so that's page 30. Actually
39.
starts 28.
Department 12.
We might be looking at new laptops this year. We have, our laptops are in real bad shape.
That's under new equipment.
Yeah, new equipment.
so the programming, that's why the programming is up, or is it just because it's an election year? $9,000 for printing and programming?
Yeah, we'll need more ballots this year.
Yeah, it won't be as cold in November, hopefully. I had to explain to one of my church people who's in her 80s why she couldn't vote in the caucus without going into the caucus. But don't I go in June for the primary? Yes, but that's not for presidential. It was confusing.
Yes. There was a young man there last night who had never voted before. And I was trying to explain to him the difference between voting and caucusing, and I don't think I don't know. It's,
Justice.
Did you fill all your delegates' spaces? Was there?
No, ours was half.
Yeah.
Okay, so under the election voter registration, that went from 5 to 12,
election,
but you dropped the election official compensation and another printing and programming. You must have switched numbers or something. I suppose that has to do with whether it's a city and school election.
yeah, number 1 is my general election. Number 1 is general. Number 2 is primary. Number 15 is special elections.
Where are you seeing those numbers?
They're the 701,
Oh, okay.
702.
Okay, so 701 is what?
General.
Okay.
Number 2 is primary. Number 15 is special. Number 3 is city and school, or 3 through 13 is city and schools. That's why there's nothing in there for this year. Number 14 is franchise.
What's franchise?
Like, if WCTA or somebody like that would need an election. And I can't remember what 15 and 16 are.
Do you have anything for, is NIAC under schools?
Yeah, 15 and 16 must be Iowa Lakes and Nyack. That might be what they are. I have it written in my other book, and 700 is general administration. So most of the expenses come out of there. Elections are kind of another unfunded mandate type thing. They're federal and they're state and we don't get reimbursed for them.
So it's like this franchise one under 714. We got a total, we have to have over $10,000 in there in case there's a franchise one.
Yep, I've always had that in there, just in case. Usually don't use it, but the first year I was here, there was one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And a special election, you never know when there's gonna be a special. We've had several specials since I've been here. And if there's 2 specials, we can use the one, we can move the money out of the franchise and put it in the special.
So looking back on 2020-23, that one, the total budget was almost 273, but total activity was only 159. So we have a lot of carryover to the general fund because of that.
Not to the general supplemental.
supplemental.
Yeah.
So all of this is under general supplemental.
Yep.
Fund 0002.
It's one of those places that's not, there's not a restriction on it, so
Okay.
you don't have to worry about it being. And the other thing, since there's carryover, we never have to levy the full amount, so.
So how easy is it to move the funds from one to the other if you would need it?
What's that?
Like if you needed for a franchise or something.
It'd just be a budget amendment. And usually you don't even do that because, as long as you don't go over in the final budget, you're okay.
In Department 12 or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah. So if we had to do a franchise election, then we would be reimbursed for that, right?
Mhm.
By who?
The
Whoever
franchise.
the franchise is.
So if it's whatever, WCTA or
Yep.
something. Okay.
Yep. And we're reimbursed for city and school elections, but not any of the other ones.
So when you look at the Department 12 revenues, it'll show we estimated $26,000 for 2021, 22, and only took in 16,500. Well, part of that was probably you had to budget for the franchises, which would have been reimbursed. So in the winning candidates speech last night, he talked about going to paper ballots. Well,
We
we're
already have.
there.
Yep.
So we're okay.
Yep. We actually got 21,767. We budgeted 16,410
On which year?
for 12 for revenue. Page 16 in the revenue.
For which year?
For 23, 24.
Oh, yeah, I was back in, when it showed actuals back in 21, 22, farther back.
Yeah, 22, we only got 16,000 in revenues, but in 24, we got 21,767. Yep. I think it'd be good to remind people that we're gonna have to cut budgets this year, that as we're going through this, that
So, question was brought to me by another county. Are we gonna do it all at once, or are we going to do it incrementally over 4 years?
I think we need to do it incrementally over 4 years.
There's no
If
way
we
we could do it all
try
at
to do it
once.
at once, we're gonna kill ourselves.
When will the new assessments, property assessments kick in? That'll be for
For
what?
this budget year.
For
Well,
this-
I've got the
work
values done, so they're out there.
Okay,
I printed those off here. It was kinda all over the place. Thompson was down 9%, Buffalo Center was up 30%.
How can that be?
Because they, I think Vanguard had gone through Buffalo Center and did comparables on sales. There was a lot more sales in Buffalo Center. The few that were in Thompson were lower, and
Yeah, I think the state had gone through and
I know
done,
the mayor of Thompson was in asking Suzanne what was going on with their lower values. He was pretty upset. It's hard to budget when you lose 9% of your valuation. But I think overall, what we're, was it 21% or something overall?
I mean, Thompson's got some nice housing and stuff. I mean, so I just can't believe that it's, I mean, Buffalo Center maybe has a couple of more services in Thompson, not a lot. I mean, I could have seen her increase being less, but I didn't see her should be increased.
so how did the reassessing, I mean, do we have a dollar amount that it increased? Or is that what you're looking for, Karen?
That's what
Oh, sorry.
I asked for it. I buried left it on my desk, I'm not sure. Okay, it's here. She printed it off for me that one day.
Who did?
Carla,
Carla.
I went into her office, was asking her about it.
Hmm.
She printed it for me. I know I have it. Here's my notes.
Explain to me debt service.
Hold on just a second.
So this page is what we use for the budgets that we're using now, right? That was for 23, 24 budgets.
Okay, so I just put in the numbers, and this is what it's going to allow us to do this year, whether we choose to do less or not, because we're going to have to, in the next 4 years, we have to get down to 3.5. That's just the way it is.
So this is max allowed,
What's
that is.
being printed? It's not to print on my cell phone.
No, it's not gonna do that.
You do?
Well, should we take care of Kevin here?
Yep.
Kevin, come on in. We'll let the smoke clear in here and then.
Hello.
Hi, how are you? What department is he?
51, page 71.
Okay, so under building repairs, is that the work we were doing up in the courtroom this year? 50,000.
Building repairs would be 44,176 on the front page. It shows 110,000 in there. That would be 50,000 for mat, 25,000 for the carpet, and Arvin is between 27 and 30.
Okay, from the front page where?
He's
It's
got a
actually on, page 73.
Oh, yeah. hold on.
Ours is, looks a little different.
Yeah,
than
mine
yours.
44179. Or
So
7.
All right.
Matt usually comes in right where he said, and he was like 48, so I put 50 down. Arvin gave me between 27 and 30. And then the carpet, the actual is 19.5, but I put 25 down because he's got some moving costs, and then he's got some, like carpet mop board up there.
Baseboard stuff.
And so just to cover and maybe any other discrepancies, I put 25, so I think the 110 is gonna reflect it fairly accurate. I was able to calculate all the carpet up because, I had Leon come in here 2 years ago and measure every single room in this building. So I can just take what his number is and then calculate the cost.
So you got 110, you're estimating, there's 100 from the one line, you said there was 10,000 from another line, or not?
No, well, I got Matt and the carpet are like 75. And then Arvin is another basically 100, and take it over, a little over 100. So I suppose the 110 is just to put a little bit of the safety.
Okay, so for budget purposes, 110 is for next year's projects?
For the upstairs courtroom.
Next year. We're working on it this year. Was it the outer part that we're doing next year? The outer rooms? What's the in the next year's budget? Is that the part we want to do an urban renewal and borrow from ourselves to?
Whoops. So, the next year's project is this floor,
Yeah,
and that's,
that's what I was confused about, because
Because
this
you're
is where
working
we're
on the
going now.
outer
Yep.
rooms now.
yep,
Yeah, I always get confused with that year out.
yep. So,
After July 1st.
after July 1st, then this floor is what's next.
Yeah.
And we haven't even talked about that yet, but we were planning to do like the walls, like what's above you. We need to do carpet, we need
The
to,
walls and
yeah, the recorder's office.
Carpet in the auditors. or-
Yeah. Basically paint everything. Really like to make the floorboards look wood again. Just basically the same
Probably
project.
need to have the discussion whether the supervisor's boardroom is gonna move
Mhm.
before you make
And what expenses on it?
any,
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
No,
I don't know if there's gonna be a lot, I mean,
I wouldn't think there would be much, really.
I mean, we're still gonna use it for something, so,
Right,
but,
but back to my question, are we able to utilize our urban renewal plan, because we have this building in that plan?
yep,
Are we able to just borrow the money from ourselves and not have to levy for it?
oh, yeah,
So then we can put it on the TIF.
Yep.
And utilize that.
yep. And that's what the money is that's in that fund. It's still from that we did last time,
Okay.
that 1502.
where is that reflected? No.
On the income?
Oh.
Oh, it's right there, that 1502 here, page 73.
Mhm.
So that's your TIF
urban.
In the expenditures, Susan.
Oh, so you have money already in that account
Mm-hmm.
sitting there.
So we don't have to levy for it. But it's not like we're dropping the levy because of that, because we're already utilizing it this year. We'll utilize it again next year.
Mm-hmm.
This is maybe not the time to ask, but are you finding that worked on those windows in the treasurer's office? And do you have a budget
Now
to
that
finish?
it's really cold,
Now that it's really cold.
I actually haven't gone down there and surveyed it,
Mhm.
but, I haven't heard any negative.
So they have been on complaining.
They haven't been complaining on that one window that I did. I did one window.
So maybe that, I
figured
know that was not expensive, but it just could be,
Like
part of
6-7 cans probably per window. Just
that's pretty,
80 to 100 bucks.
compared to a window, that's pretty cheap.
yeah.
If it fixes it, then the problem's gone away, so.
And we don't know yet if the window operates. It should.
It should.
The type of window it is, all the mechanics are beyond the frame.
Yep, it should work.
I dare you to go open it right now.
Be kind of chilly.
You wouldn't have any favorable views of it.
Especially if it's stuck open.
Yeah, okay.
How about like building repair stuff, on the previous page, like your second page.
So, are you talking 44, 176,
Yeah.
the 50,000?
Yeah,
So, we gotta keep our eyes on the boilers
Okay.
situation, and I think we're setting aside for that, so we don't have,
that'd be boilers, coolers, whatever.
yeah, I mean, I got those quotes from 2021, so they would be increased now,
They're
but
old, yeah.
back then it was 87 for the outside boiler, 67 for the inside boiler, and 67 for the rooftop.
So,
But, I mean,
okay, so now, if we have 50,000 in there this year,
if I'm correct.
that would cover what then? What would $50,000 do?
Well, the outside boilers, well, we do gotta, in the next couple of years, we do gotta consider how we wanna approach changing them. Because the maintenance guys that come in and do the maintenance on it, every year they say, this is, region, its life expectancy is 22 years old down there, and it's like 22 to 25 is the general. So I don't know which one we would replace first. Take your pick. This one out here is probably 35, 40 years old,
But you can do them at one at a time, they don't have to be done in tandem?
I mean, I mean, I guess the way I've been thinking about it is that they work. I mean,
How,
do we want to head it off the pass?
how
Being that they're
big
leasing and
physically
fixing?
is this boiler?
How what?
How big physically is this boiler?
The boiler downstairs is probably like that,
Okay,
and then come up this far, and it's a thermal solution, and a new boiler. Now, I don't, like I said, these are 3 years old. A new boiler would be it would modulate more, where it wouldn't meet a set point, like this boiler out west, it's 160. Regardless of the outside temperature or the call for it in the building, 160. So modulation would be, this zone is calling for heat, it would modulate up to it and then
only satisfy what
to
it,
satisfy that need. And if it was 160 for these 3 days, it'd be 160. But it would just kind of meet the need, as I understand it, meet the necessary need at that time, so. And those are much more efficient boilers. I had the numbers last year for the efficiency of the boiler that's down here in this building. You know, it ran quite a few hours to,
So back to my original question, what does $50,000 do for us? What will that buy?
None of the above, right?
right, it's not gonna complete the installation.
So if we don't expend the money this year, that money carries forward.
Well,
Cash.
not technically, if we do a resolution to set that money aside, then it would.
I'm just worried that we're gonna get caught and the state's coming down on us to lower our budgets, and we've set money aside. I think we need to protect that money
Mhm.
for that purpose, or we put it in the urban renewal plan
If I
and add to
remember
that.
last year, we talked about, or 2 years ago, whatever it was, setting aside.
Have a capital outlay.
That's what we
Yeah,
talked
yeah,
about.
so we wouldn't have to pay for it all in 1 year, we could kind of build the,
So is it in our best interest to do it that way through tax money, or are we better off trying to utilize the TIF?
Well, and it was one thing when we could try to build up our funds, but now that if we can't, I mean, we're kind of between a rock and a hard place. So,
So if you can use the urban renewal and TIF, would we be smarter to replace those
In a project.
in a project
I'd rather
rather
just do that.
even than
We have
the
4 years to
remodeling
utilize that money.
of
We only
this
got
floor?
4 years left on the TIF, so
I mean, I think it's smart because at some point, I'm gonna come in on a Saturday morning to check it or Saturday night, and it's gonna be,
Well, we're gonna have to scramble to try to
we're gonna
figure out how to
scramble.
pay
So
for it.
how do we wanna approach it? Do we wanna just cut all that off the pass and just put it in so that it all works moving forward, or do we wanna wait for it to fail? And then, see, that's what I'm worried about.
my suggestion is to take that 50,000 from up there, put it down in the TIF part, and add some to it to make sure, get an estimate what it's gonna cost to fix that this next
At
summer
least
or
then you'd be
whatever,
able to
to replace that.
replace the highest price one. I mean, at least then you'd have enough money to, as you said, 87, 67, and
Outside boiler was 87,000 3 years ago.
it's probably 100.
Could be 100,000 now. The inside boiler downstairs was 67,000, 2021. And the rooftop chiller out there, which is the boiler chiller, you know, the chiller on the roof, was 67,000. So,
Is there any price advantages to do it all at once, or?
I can talk to
we could
Levi.
possibly get bids then.
Mhm.
I can talk to Levi.
Now, the inside chiller, or the inside boiler, that one is the same age, or?
The inside boiler is probably going on 22 years old because it was installed in 2002. And
it
it's
doesn't modulate?
that doesn't modulate. It's a good boiler. It's not as
And we just
efficient.
have 2 boilers then?
Downstairs, just one.
But there's the outside and the inside?
Yeah, the inside boiler does the new part,
Mhm.
and then the outside boiler does this building, up
Okay.
and down, all 3
All
floors.
right, so we have 2 boilers
So we have two systems we need to think,
and a chiller.
and we have 2 chillers. The chiller in between the buildings over here is for that side only. That was in 2018,
So that's newer.
that's newer. Still, I mean, it's,
So
they work
200
hard in the summer. This chiller out here, I'm not positive when it was installed, 2012, 13, 14, 15, somewhere in there, before I came around. That does this building as well, just this building here.
So
And-
that's not as old either then, okay.
But the boiler out here is, as far as I can tell from just looking at things on it and stuff, is 1990.
I'm concerned more for the boilers than the chillers
Yeah.
right now, unless you're having a lot of problem with the chillers.
not having a lot of problems with the chillers. You know, other than put a service call into it this summer a couple times, and they found a little oil leak and fixed that.
But do you think we can gain anything on the efficiency?
I think on the chiller, especially this one, we wait for it to fail. Or we wait till that,
That's the older
to
one?
fail, but we wait for that window to come. I mean, it's 2018.
Okay, but what about the other one?
This one, that one, I had him look at it, and he didn't add any Freon or whatever in the coolant this last season, which was last summer. So it should start up.
I mean, what about efficiency on this one?
This chiller,
If you replaced it, do you get a lot more efficient? Is your SEER, is there a SEER number on those?
I'm sure there is. I don't know. I can get that information.
I think it'd be.
I'm sure the
good.
boilers would be much more efficient, because like I said, this is basically a water heater. It's keeping 160 degree water, and then it just circulates, and then when you want your room, you just turn up the thermostat, and the blower blows because the hot water circulating in the pipes, blower blows until it meets your set.
The reason I wanna know is because with our budgets being cut, I wanna make us as efficient as possible for our energy costs and
From
things
what I've been
like
told
that.
by these guys, the efficiency is going to increase on both boiler installations. So
Yeah, but I don't think they increase as much as it used to be in the past when they were with the technology and stuff.
well, the efficiency will be high, but I'm thinking the modulation might help us out a little bit, because it's not going to.
Modulation might.
It's
On the boiler.
on the boiler.
Yeah.
It's
I was talking
because it's
about
going to just run it's going to increase to a requested input, and then it's going to stop, and it's not going to just keep heating water that circulates. So I can get more information on that for us. I'm not a furnace tech, but I listen to them when they talk to me, and I'm writing stuff down and make notes so we know kind of what we're.
Well, I'd hate to get 4 years down the road and we gotta replace everything, we don't have the money to do it because we've been cut.
That's my fear. I mean, right now we come in every day, it's running, but they're telling me, hey, you should think about this, is what they're telling me. So,
So is it more of a priority to make sure that those are efficient and up and running rather than some other improvements on the courthouse?
well, we need to have heat, no matter what the building looks like. Heating's and carpet though, for sure.
So what if, boilers could last for years too, so we don't know.
That's it.
I've heard of boilers that have lasted 20, 30 years past what their life expectancy was.
Honestly, Bill, that's the game I'm playing right now. I'm just like, I come in every day, we check it. I come in on Saturdays when it's really cold and just make sure
And
it's
the odds
good.
are pretty slim of them all, that both of them failing at the same time.
I don't wanna be that supervisor that kicks it down to the road and they're gonna be complaining down the road that we
Yes,
didn't do anything.
completely you guys' call. I'm just relaying the information the best that I
Seems like
can.
we've already dealt with a little of that.
Yeah,
So I turned to get with somebody else.
but the thing is, I wanna utilize the urban renewal plan to help on this so that the other taxpayers aren't having to foot the bill.
It might be a smart time to utilize that.
So the $100,000 that was allocated for other improvements in
The courthouse.
the courthouse project, that 100,000 was for up there, or that 100,000 is for this level?
Well, you
It is.
budgeted this next year, same thing.
Same,
10.
okay, the same amount.
Wow, we went up 10,000.
I don't think we'll need.
We can adjust it, but
Yeah.
I think we're gonna need to have it.
Yeah. And if we use it for furnace, if we use it for windows, if we use it for, I don't know, there's so much work that needs to be done,
I would agree.
whether it be carpets, whether it be painting, whether it be, I don't know,
A lot of the walls need to be fixed,
there's just projects.
The reason they're
all-
going,
crumbling and falling apart.
is it even worth our while at this point to start preserving everything? Because their goal by levying how we can tax is to make us consolidate with other counties. It's the only thing I can think of. I can't think of any other reason why they're gonna limit our abilities to,
Well, we'll have it nice and fixed up for the Historical Society then.
there you go.
Or Worth County can come over and enjoy our courthouse since they
Yeah.
haven't built
Yes,
one
It
since
might
they
yet.
be-
haven't built one.
It might be an
that's right.
advantage.
Well, if we're lucky, we'll be the ones that still exist.
Still standing.
Hancock's working on theirs. They got the
Also-
entry done and
I've also heard, like they wanna regionalize them, like Saragordo will have a whole bunch of counties, just like what they're doing with everything else right now. Oh, and did you know that our mental health region is no longer gonna be? State's taking it all over. It's gonna be, we won't be with the western counties anymore. Cassuth is where the line is, and we're gonna be with Ames and, all that down there with
When did you
the,
get that news? I mean, I know it's been coming, but when did you get the news?
oh, just last week or so. So here comes more changes, and the state's gonna take all that over too, along with their public health.
so what do we wanna give him for a directive on what to find out or what to put into the budget?
As far as prices on the boilers and stuff,
Yeah,
The two boilers.
it's never hurts to know what you
Yeah.
gotta do.
Well, I think what we were asking is, are we gonna have a huge savings of money to do them all at the same time, or two at a time, or, I mean, that's what you need to ask your,
you've got your
People.
three projects of two boilers and a chiller that are possible. They could be grouped as a project, to see if it saves any money. Or pick and choose what we wanna do this year and maybe do another one next year or something.
so then you would put that out for a bid process of some sort? I don't know.
How would we
Well,
do it that way
mean-
or?
You could. So I gotta think about service later on down the road.
Yeah,
So whoever puts it in, I've got Larson's on speed dial, and they come. So if we gotta get bids, we gotta get bids.
I had
Is
a,
this-
I had a
is this,
50-year-old boiler in my other house, and they were the ones that kept it.
I mean,
So-
I,
can we do this under, request for proposal under professional services? Or do we have to go to a full bid process?
I would think we could do an RFP.
Well, we didn't take the lowest bid when it come to the outside of the building. Because the guy that was the lowest bid was way lower, and I figured there was something missing.
Too good to be true.
But if we don't go to a full bid process, we can do RFP, the proposals,
what's the RFP?
just request for proposals. It's a different process.
And then
We're not
you don't have-
required
then
to-
you can
We're not
kinda
required to
say
take
you
a low
want-
bid on that.
The Larson's, or
Yeah,
whatever.
no, if you're getting good service somewhere, you hate to go away from it.
I mean, that makes this position
It's kinda like,
extremely
I'm
hard.
willing to pay more for my groceries so I can buy them at the grocery store in Buffalo Center, because I want that service to be there.
And they're fair. I've actually looked at a bill before with, and then he actually considered that the next time, so. Speaking of, I was on the rooftop. I got called in yesterday. I was on the rooftop out there, frozen, chipping on the roof, out the PSC.
What was wrong?
Oh, the
They had a
exhaust.
furnace cell going, and they called me, and I went out there and got on the roof, fixed it, chipped it away, and then the recycle went out, looked at the codes. I mean, honestly, probably a $200-$400 service call yesterday. Didn't need it. It cycled out. I said, in half an hour, let me know if that room changes. It came up.
what actually did you have to chip?
Apparently,
The drain or?
no, the exhaust, apparently they had the thermostat set lower, so it wasn't cycling as much, and then we got that storm,
Oh.
3 or 4
just
days
hit.
of frickin', and there was just a little tiny hole right in the middle of it. And that was my suspicion. And like to emphasize my point with Larson's, I called him. I said, "Hey, are you guys working today?" Yeah, we're working. I go, I got this issue out here. This furnace ain't heating. If I need you guys, could you come over? And, yeah, we'll be there. And I said, well, I think it's this. And I told him that. And then he goes, we'll go look at the codes. If you don't want to get on the roof first, but I kind of suspected what it was, so I just got on the roof and sure enough, chipped it off with a screwdriver, about that much, down into the pipe. And just texted him back, said, yeah. He said, you're probably right, that's probably what it is. So I fixed it. And
So that's an exhaust pipe.
the furnace exhaust coming up through the roof.
There's been many times my boiler, I had to go out and break off the creek.
Yeah, if your furnace is working and it's kind of just stops, it's like, what's going on? That exhaust pipe on top is freezing.
I thought maybe you were talking about like the rooftop
Venting.
units were covered with ice or
Well,
something.
those are the ACs.
That's just AC.
The furnaces are down in the rooms.
I know mini splits will ice up.
Yeah. I mean, you know.
Well, I guess if you can work on that, get some prices down, what direction we're gonna go.
Okay, this would be for a 25 project?
Well, it would be your 24, 25, yeah.
425.
Well, it'd be nice to know in case we have to spend some of that 50,000 this year or something, but I'd rather just let that roll forward into our funds if we can.
Right.
Anything else you have concerns on this?
No,
Other
I just,
stuff?
not really, I just maybe wanted to
How
talk
about your equipment? Your, like, all your mowers and
Oh, they're good.
snow removal is all good?
Yep,
Good.
we got the John Deere cab out there that, oh, thank you. We got the cabs and.
I've seen used ones going for over $5,000.
They're expensive. Well, the cab was $8,300.
So the additional salaries, that is extra help, is that snow removal and mowing or spraying lawns or what is that?
That's in case we needed a part-time situation. Really, I think, just like some snow removal and stuff like that. That's what that was.
So far, you haven't utilized it this year, though.
No, we haven't utilized it in quite a while. I did want to talk about maybe asking you guys to, maybe possibly with a slow increase of my job responsibilities, maybe considering a little bump in the salary for the maintenance supervisor position. For instance, when the LEC was over here, counting small potatoes. When it moved out there, the responsibilities and commitments, I think, probably doubled in the grounds yard and upkeep, HVAC custodial. The service agreements were a big one, the jail inspections. And then we're increasing the footprint down here a little bit. I just think the umbrella of commitment and responsibility it's decent. I don't have any demands or anything like that. I love this job. I love people. I'm your guy for the next 10, 12, 15 years. But I do feel that.
So the number that was plugged in here, was that 4.5 or
I put in 6 for Kevin. And I put in 4.5 for Rick.
Well, I think you're doing a good job.
I really am trying
Seems
to,
like we can always count on you and Rick to get it done.
I mean, from the outside to the inside, I'm going for it.
How many hours are you putting in over a 40-hour week?
Well, that commitment is on demand. Like I said yesterday, it's a county holiday, but no, I'm not complaining, I'm just, you know, I was moving some snow and I got a call and they said the furnace ain't working, so I would've got called in regardless. I got called in a couple times on Christmas for the alarm out here. I never found out what it was. It happened twice, 2 hours, one at 12:30, I think, and then 2:30, at Christmas, I drove out to my parents, I had to come in, reset it, don't know,
Alarm for what?
building alarm, security.
Security.
Then I drove back out there and 2 hours later, the phone's ringing, like, what the hell? I had electronic engineering come in and I did have him look at it. And he said it's working normal, so I just went around, I cleaned everything, you know, if there was a cobweb, I knocked it off. And for all I know, it could have been a spider walking across I don't know what it was, but it was raining that day, pretty heavily, coming from the southeast. Is there a density in the moisture a sensitivity that could have set it off? I didn't get an answer, the guy came in, Paul Boy came in, he said there's nothing wrong with it, it's working, so.
It's nothing worse than something that doesn't work and then starts working again.
Yeah, so I don't have an answer for that. I did get some quotes for some,
You know it's not gonna work, you just can't find it.
So on this part-time help, the only thing I could, did you ever get it straightened out with Robert on his cleaning thing?
I didn't, because he didn't really follow up that much, and
So he must have looked somewhere else to,
at this point, I kind of, unless somebody's hitting me up hard, unless you guys say you're gonna do it, I would like to avoid it.
And I've told Robert no.
Maintenance is Kevin.
He just doesn't have time. And
well, that's where I was
So-
talking about this part-time help. If we did have somebody that kind of rotated in to fill in,
Okay.
well, and Robert
and we take it from his budget for part of it.
has always hired his own custodial help. So
Okay.
I don't
Okay, I'm in a budget meeting right now. I will go and see what's going
understand
on.
why all of a sudden he wants.
Yep, bye.
I
I gotta
think,
go.
oh, okay,
Got something going on with the fire system.
okay.
Well, I guess the only reason I do that is if we can draw the money he was paying outside help for doing his cleaning, put it into that part of the budget, then you have somebody that's available for
And
the
now,
days
and
that he
now
wants to
Kevin
be
has
off.
a true part-time person.
Yeah, to supplement that.
It's hard to find part-time help for that.
It is hard to find part-time help, but
Especially if it's any good.
Or night, like somebody, a
and
second.
who would hire that person? Would it be me and Kevin, or would it be Robert?
Well, I think it would be cleaner if they just hired one for themselves. Just hire somebody that does house cleaning or whatever. Just hire.
The one person I thought about for him would be like, say, April Seuss.
Mm.
You know, she could do it in the evenings when her husband is home with the kid. She could go clean it for him.
So how did it ever come about, the cleaning, the maintenance on the law enforcement building? That
Transferred from there to
Because it was always them that did it over here,
Different building.
so.
They just said,
okay, so there was never really any discussion. who
Well,
was
and
the-
they don't do the jail. They do the office parts, but they don't do the jail part,
that's the jail part.
the inmates and the people who work back in the jail part.
for security reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing was ever really changed on the budget necessarily for maintenance when it moved from this little up close to
Out
But it-
there.
way out
But
there
at one
and
point,
bigger.
we had 2 full-time people and a part-time at one point, when Mike was working for us.
We had 1 full-time and 2 part-times.
That's what it was, okay.
Maintenance,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
So K1 was full-time, and K2 and Mike were part-time.
Well, we had that gal was, what what was her name?
I don't-
We had the gal and Mike was part-time, and then Kevin became, Kevin replaced,
K2.
K2 replaced, I think, the gal, and then,
We worked
and then
Mike
when
up.
Mike quit and she quit, Kevin K2 became full-time.
It's almost, you know, it's almost like it'd be nice at some point, whether it's this year or next year or whatever, we need to probably transition somebody in here to be, because, you know, Rick's getting up there in age too.
Yeah, I think Rick
Yeah,
said
well,
that he was
They both
planning,
decided to, that would be
Yeah.
without anybody's experience.
Well,
like,
it doesn't make any sense, really, in my opinion, to have Kevin be all the way out there. I mean, the situation like just now, that he just got
right. Well,
a
it's,
call about a,
what, 12 minutes out there,
I
12
think-
minutes?
I think they're better off to hire someone to do it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That would just be a cleaner process, the whole thing. They just
But
take care of
you
it.
still have equipment maintenance and stuff like that. Would they hire somebody to do that part of it when he's already doing stuff out there and you lose all that continuity or?
and then the concerns are is if, when there's an event that needs to be cleaned before the next event,
Oh, you're talking about the
out there.
nature center. I
At
was
the
talking
nature
about the
center,
jail.
yeah. But I
And
mean,
that's
that's a
what you-
Yeah, I was
real,
talking about nature center also, sorry.
so that's gonna be like a quick kind of a
But my
turnaround.
concern on this part-time is we've got extra space out to the new building that we're adding on.
That's right.
It's gonna be extra work.
I think, yeah, I just,
Because, you know, maybe, you know, Kevin likes to do the snow removal, but
And maybe.
he doesn't get his cleaning jobs done when he's doing that.
I mean, he's got all kinds of maintenance things that he needs to do. He maybe necessarily shouldn't be wasted. Maybe we should, public health, we should just contract with someone to come in and clean that.
Because they do.
Rather than hire a part-time employee, which is hard to find. If you've got somebody that does cleaning already, and just have them come in once a week and clean the place.
I mean, part-time doesn't mean we have to give benefits or anything, but
Yeah.
we still have to carry
Kevin-
his comp and stuff like that.
Kevin could still do the maintenance issues, whatever is going around, you know, light switches breaking or something like that. But just hire somebody just purely for the cleaning. That's the thing that'll take the most time.
But I also have concerns of having a contract person into a
well, and it's,
facility
there's
like that.
HIPAA and there's
Yeah, that's
all
what I'm
that
concerned
stuff.
about.
Yeah. It'd be easier to have somebody that would do like the outside, the snow removal and the grass, you know, that kind of,
Kevin will be seeing the same thing as that person, so it's probably a HIPAA violation for him to see it also.
Yeah, but we've
He knows his parameters.
But
We-
yeah,
trained him.
but you can also make sure that this person is trained in that HIPAA protocols too. Or, well, they're cutting our budgets, so we can't, you could think about adding on a third one, full-time employee, and then do the, nature center and everything, and the extra down here, and then have that person, you know, get experience and transition into Kevin's position.
I don't think, I truly don't think it's gonna be a lot of hours out to the nature center, but it's that you've got to go out there and do it, you know.
Well, and what
They do their
Kevin
own
said
snow removal.
is, you know, what Robert isn't thinking of is when you have all those little kids and all those boots and all that mud,
Mhm.
and he goes, that takes a lot longer than what you think it does. And my husband always used to say the same thing about the school. He goes, in the winter or in the spring and in the fall, those kids and their boots and the mud and all that takes
And salt
way-
off the sidewalks, and
longer than anybody ever thinks it does.
once it's dried on, you gotta scrub with your mop. I mean, it's,
But it, you know, most of it's an easy to clean, just that one room we were in had carpet in it. But the rest of it's all real hard surface. wide open, but
but that mopping, I think Kevin said at one of our other meetings that those hard surfaces take longer to care for, take care of than the carpeted surfaces.
But they're always a place like this where you come in the door and that's where the
Yeah.
mess is. Well, maybe we need to have Robert buy a robotic floor cleaner thing out there, just automatically.
Yeah.
Does
You
that.
could just get an iRobot with the mopping feature. They make
Apply for a grant for
industrial
that.
ones that are, Milwaukee's, no, Makita. I want one for the shop. Makita iRobot floor cleaning.
Oh,
Would make sense out there. I mean, you just start it up and let it do its thing. Just get a grant for it.
Yeah, we probably need to ask Robert about that, have some more discussion.
23rd or whatever.
Who's supposed to be here now?
Dead time.
I screwed up the schedule,
That's what I was gonna say, we got a half hour here.
but we can call him Brody if you want.
Have more time for lunch.
There you go.
It's true.
See you in here.
Yeah.
You ready?
What number is he?
Take your.
He's 52.
Next page.
Page 75. Hi Brody,
Hey, how's it going?
thank you for your help with my iPad.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Well, you got some things you want to discuss on this, son, or?
Is this straight?
Yes.
We like